Good evening. Welcome to Primetime News on TV1. I'm Piruni Karunaratna. We are coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Here are tonight's top stories. 850 Lanka Sirasa employees made permanent illegally during election period under previous administration. Revelation made in COPE.
අපිට ඇත්ත කියන්නේ ඇත්තට මේක මොකද්ද මේ
2023 වර්ෂයේ 375 දිනකුත් 2024 වර්ෂයේ 476 කුත් බඳ වුණා.
Mahinda and Maitri request the bulletproof vehicles they previously returned.
Mahinda Rajapaksa හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමත් මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමත් නැවත ඉල්ලීමක් කරලා තියෙනවා ඔවුන්ගේ වාහන සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
Sarath Fonseca makes revelation on white flag case.
පුදුකොඩි කතාව. මංගා වීඩියෝ එකක් තියෙනවා මං ළඟදී මේක එළියට දානවා. මේ කෝල් එක දුන්නේ ආරක්ෂකලේකම්. එතකොට ඒක අහගෙන හිටව මාධ්‍යවේදීන් තමයි ඒ කතාව තමයි තන තන ගියේ.
Former Minister Bimal Veeravansa summoned to appear before Tangol Crimes Division once again. Investments in Sri Lanka are secure under the current government. President tells delegation of US business representatives. On to your top story this evening. It was revealed at the Committee on Public Enterprises that 850 employees of Lanka Sirasa had been illegally made permanent during the election period under the previous administration. Lanka Sirasa officials were summoned before the committee yesterday to provide clarifications on this matter.
At present, all 8 top positions in this institution are on a contract basis. The next tier, which includes the senior manager position, also has vacancies. This means that a considerable portion of the organizational hierarchy consists of individuals recruited on a contractual basis. As a result, we are faced with a serious issue regarding accountability. That's right. The problem is there is no sense of accountability or responsibility to continue this properly. However, during a board meeting held in September 2024, the contracts which were initially for 2 years were extended to 5 years.
මේ ආයතනයේ සම්පූර්ණ හෙඩ් එක කොන්ත්‍රාත් පදනමින් තියලා වැඩ කිරීම මේ ආයතනයේට සහ මේකට සුබදායි නැහැ කියන එක අපේ අදහස.
පිළිගන්නවා ඒ ගැන සම්බන්ධ අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන DMS එකේ GM එකට කතා කරලා
දීලා තිබ්බ ඇත්තටම ඒක මේ කෝප් කමිටුවෙන්ද ටිකක් ඉස්සරහට ගන්න.
24 ජුලි මාසේ 850ක විතර එම්ප්ලොයිස්ලා ප්‍රමාණයක් පර්මනන්ට් කාඩර් එකට ඇතුළත් කරගෙන තියෙනවා.
Actually, many of those employees were working on a casual basis in our outlets. In some locations, there were only 1 or 2 people working. So a few of those short-term employees were among those approved for permanency. In July 2024, just before the August-September elections, 850 employees were absorbed into the permanent cadre. It is clearly stated that no employee can be recruited without the approval of the Prime Minister's committee. So what exactly happened here? Because there shouldn't be any excess cadre. Mr. Chairman, not all 800 were recruited at once. In 2023, 375 employees were appointed, and in 2024, another 476 were recruited. So that's across both years.
දැන් මේ වගේ බඳවා ගැනීම වලට DMS අනුමැතිය ඕනේ නැද්ද?
At that time, during the previous government, as far as I know, the management had obtained permission for that process.
ඒකේ තනතුරු 400 බැගින් අනුමත කරලා තියෙනවා. එතන මේ ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් SWR අනුමත කිරීමේදීත් ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. අවශ්‍ය සුසුකම් සම්පූර්ණ කරපු නැති කොටසක් ඉන්නවා.
Mr. Chairman, I was appointed to the board under the new government. When we came in, we did not realize the extent of the damage caused to this institution. It's far worse than we thought. From what I can see, this organization has been structured for corruption from the very beginning. The real purpose of this institution is to provide essential goods to consumers at affordable prices. But under the current structure, it is difficult to function effectively unless the management operates at a level comparable to the private sector.
It was also revealed that the government had incurred a loss of 15 billion rupees through the importation of rice in previous years.
The Lanka Sirasa institution incurred 27 billion rupees in expenditures on imported rice during 2014 and 2015. Specifically 27.011 billion rupees. However, the sales of these rice stocks generated only around 11,854 million rupees in revenue. This resulted in a loss of 15.157 billion rupees. During the 2015 presidential election, an additional 61,354 metric tons of rice were imported to ensure adequate supply. Under an agreement, 25,000 metric tons were imported from Bangladesh. Such massive rice imports effectively wasted public funds. Furthermore, the imported stocks were stored in warehouses that eventually deteriorated. Many of these locations were unsuitable for storage, emitting foul odors, and the rice could not be properly distributed across the provinces. Hence, the company suffered a total of 15 billion rupees or 15.157 billion rupees. This is not a trivial amount. The critical issue is that no investigation has been conducted by the institution to identify who was responsible for making these decisions that caused such significant losses.
පරීක්ෂණයක් ආයතන විසින් සිද්ධ කළා නැහැ.
දැනට මේ සම්බන්ධව CID එකේ නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට චෝදනා ගොනු කරන්න බාර දීලා තියෙනවා.
ඒකට මේ විගණන වාර්තාව පදනම් කරගෙන තියෙනවද?
මේ විගණන වාර්තාව පදනම් කරගෙන නැහැ. අප සතුව තිබ්බ ඔක්කොම ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් මම ප්‍රොවයිඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා CID එකට.
තරම් පාඩුවක් සිදු කිරීම
Such a massive loss occurred because they imported rice without even identifying proper storage facilities. This entire report, submitted on the 30th December 2016, outlines the issue. It's been 9 years since then, yet no concrete action has been taken.
අදටත් අවුරුදු 9ක් වාර්තාව දීලා.
The Lanka Satosa chairman also explained issues related to procurement and stock maintenance.
chain එක
When purchasing goods for any chain or bringing them into the store, the expiry date must be entered into the system. Otherwise, we don't know when it expires. Unfortunately, in some locations, the expiry dates were incorrectly entered as 2045 or 2050. These products were then used in operations. The staff knew that once the goods arrived, payment would only be received after 7 to 8 months. Consequently, what they did was bring near expiry items into the system. All the goods that came in were near expiry. So where do these items eventually expire? At the outlets. The problem is that when the goods expire at the outlets, there is no proper mechanism to return them to the supplier. There is no systematic process for that. Ultimately, by the end of the year, during inventory checks, we still have these expired goods in stock. There is a substantial quantity stored in warehouses and we cannot resell them.
අපිට ඒවා මේ රිකන්සයිල් කරගන්න බැරුව නැවත මුල ඉඳලා ආරම්භ කළ යුතු මට්ටමේ තියෙන ආයතනයක් විදිහට තමයි දකින්නේ. නෑ අපි ඇත්තටම ගන්න ජර්මන් මේ අර ගේ ඇතුළේ ඉඳන් අතිවාරම හදනවා ඒ වැඩක් මේ කරන්නේ. ඒක තමයි.
Meanwhile, Minister of Trade, Commerce, Food Security and Cooperative Development, Vasantha Samarasinghe, shared his views on the current activities of Lanka Satosa in Anuradhapura today.
Lanka Satosa ආයතනය
Lanka Satosa was once on the brink of collapse with losses of 22 million rupees, outstanding payments exceeding 12 million rupees and an overdraft of over 5 billion rupees. Today we have transformed Lanka Satosa into a consumer-focused organization providing quality products at affordable prices in a competitive market. From last September to this September, we have reduced the prices of nearly 40 products by 20%. While we acknowledge that the prices of 9 products have increased by 15%, price of 40 products were reduced. We are actively implementing necessary interventions to ensure effective price control.
අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේවා ගත්තාම අපි මේ මිල පාලනයට අවශ්‍ය කරන මැදිහත් වීම අපි කරමින් තිබෙනවා.
Meanwhile, former Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena have requested the Ministry of Public Security to return the bulletproof vehicles that they previously used.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala stated that following the revocation of the President's Entitlement to Repeal Act, steps were taken recently to hand over the vehicles to the Presidential Secretariat in accordance with the law. He added that these requests will be referred to the Security Review Committee.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමාත්
Former Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena have made requests regarding their vehicles. We have decided to submit these requests to the Threat Assessment Committee under the Ministry of Public Security, and any vehicles deemed necessary for security purposes will be returned based on the committee's decision.
ආලෝචන කමිටුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරලා ඒ තීන්දුව අනුව ආරක්ෂාවට බලපාන ඒ වාහන නැවත ලබා දෙන්න ඒ කමිටුවේ තීන්දුව අනුව.
Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca held a media briefing today to respond to comments made by certain parties concerning his recent statement on the period of war.
A group of retired military officers also attended the media briefing held in Colombo.
2008 අගෝස්තු මාසයේ පමණ මම හිතන්නේ කිට්ටු වෙනකොට
Around August 2008, the supply of bullets from China came to a halt. Gotabaya Rajapaksa responded casually, saying that the ammunition was being provided on loan and that there was nothing he could do if China decided to stop the supply. I then went directly to Basil Rajapaksa's office, where he immediately contacted PB Jayasundara and instructed him to release 100 million rupees, which was done within 5 minutes. I spoke with Basil Rajapaksa for about an hour, during which he mentioned giving money to the LTTE in 2005. He said that the LTTE had promised us to stop the Tamil community from casting votes upon his request. He also said that big boats to be used by the LTTE members at sea are in Malaysia and that money needed to be paid for that. Basil said that this required $2 million. We said there is no issue there and that it can be arranged immediately. What Basil told me was that a neighboring country gave $2 million to our country for the election and that entire lump sum was given to Prabhakaran in Kilinochchi. According to Basil, an up-country Tamil politician was present there as well. The same politician you may have seen on TV in the past getting beaten up. These boats were used to attack the Navy's Dwara boats. 10 of our Dwara boats were sunk in this manner. About 150 of our Navy personnel were killed as well. Even though a son of theirs was in the Navy, he was never sent out to sea. All he did was play rugby in Colombo and race cars. By January 2009, we were so close to ending the war. On the 27th of January, Gotabaya called and said very lovingly, "Sarath, haven't you been leading the army in war for 2.5 years already? You must be exhausted. There is someone called Jagat Jayasuriya. You can let him complete the rest of the job and take a break." I told him that I will not hand over the job to anyone else. That was on the 27th of January. On the 28th, Mahinda Rajapaksa called me. He ordered me to declare a temporary ceasefire on the 31st of January and 1st of February. We are supposed to follow these orders. In such a context, on the night of the 31st of January, the LTTE crossed the Nandikada lagoon and launched a massive attack on us. The war that was supposed to be ended by mid-March got dragged until mid-May. We lost weapons worth tens of millions of rupees. The person who is responsible for that whole incident, all the damage caused, all the lives lost, and the additional expenses incurred due to the war dragging out further is none other than Mahinda Rajapaksa. He disguises himself as a lion by wearing a lion's skin, but he is going around getting others to say that there was no ceasefire. This is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. If he has any self-respect and he is denying having given an order that he actually gave, how lowly is that? I have said before that if this had happened in any other country, indictments would have been filed against him and legal action would have been taken. He would have received death penalty thereafter. What I said was that this is what would have happened in another country. This government is against corruption and tries to work in accordance with the law and respects the law. If that is the case, legal action needs to be taken in this regard. An attorney who is Mahinda Rajapaksa's media spokesperson made a statement to the media. The items moved from temple trees and the president's house to Vijayarama do not have the relevant documents. Then who was there at the time? Mahinda Rajapaksa at temple trees and Gotabaya at the president's house. If the documents are not there, that means a theft has taken place. The two brothers have committed a theft. The facts required to take legal action against Mahinda for the theft of items has been provided. That is why I said that if I was Harshana Nanakara, I would have arrested that lawyer by now. There is an animal called hyena. You must have heard of them. What do they consume? Rotten meat. This individual is also like a hyena. That is why they are calling us names and making various allegations. He also said that Mahinda is like a lion. Lions do not steal, but even a child in this country knows that Mahinda is a thief. The Supreme Court gave a ruling on this as well, that the Rajapaksa brothers ruined this country. There is something else I must mention here. Right when the war was about to end, Gotabaya tried to foil that process. Jagat Dias was removed from the war field. 2 months before the war ended, my mission Director General Uday Pereira was removed from his post and sent to Malaysia. The whole country was waiting for us to win the war, and they were doing lowly things like this. To win the presidential election in 2010, which was almost a year, they needed Prabhakaran to be alive. They wanted to keep Prabhakaran alive and make sure to be in the good books of the Tamil community. That was Mahinda Rajapaksa's intention. That was his plan.
He also shared his views on an upcoming revelation.
ඊට පස්සේ සුදු කොඩි කතාව. මංගා වීඩියෝ එකක් තියෙනවා මං ළඟදි මේක එළියට දානවා.
And now on to the white flag case. I have a video which I will release in the near future. On the 17th, Gotabaya gave a call to Shavindra Silva. There are cameras of the media all around him. After the call, Shavindra Silva keeps down the phone and for a moment he forgets all the cameras that are around him. He tells the officials who are in front of him that it was the defense secretary who just called and that there was a talk to bring out white flags to surrender and that however all those there will be killed. He says something like that, but I was not aware of any of this. He calls officers on the field and tells them all this. The journalists were listening to all this. I have a clip that was recorded that day, a clip of Shavendra Silva making that statement. I will release it soon. It is the journalists who were there that day who spoke about this white flag story. Frederica Jazz came to meet me for an interview before the 2010 presidential election. She asked me if there was any plan involving white flags. I gave her just one reply, that two other journalists also asked me the same question before her. That is all I said. Frederica Jans then put a headline the following day saying that the general had ordered those carrying white flags to be shot dead. This was simply untrue. When the case was ongoing, there was a woman on the 3-judge bench named Vijay Sundara who was an absolute Rajapaksa loyalist. She paid attention to none of this. She was the head of that 3-judge bench. In fact, Mahinda Rajapaksa was the one who signed at her daughter's wedding as the witness. During the time the case was ongoing, that daughter was even gifted a Toyota car. So she ended up saying that I was found guilty of the charges and needed to be jailed.
Former Minister Bimal Veeravansa has been summoned to appear before the Tangol Crimes Investigation Division tomorrow at 10 a.m. The police said that the summons is in connection with further inquiries regarding a statement made by Veeravansa on Beli Atte Sana, who was arrested on drug-related charges. On to more local news now. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake emphasized that the security of investors and their investments in Sri Lanka has been fully ensured under the current government.
The President had a discussion today at the Presidential Secretariat with a delegation of US business representatives visiting the country to study Sri Lanka's investment opportunities, business environment and legal framework. The President noted that a secure environment for investments has now been established in Sri Lanka, stressing that the irregularities under previous administrations have been corrected. He stated that the current government is drafting new laws within a democratic framework to ensure transparency and stability in the investment process. President Dissanayake further affirmed that introducing an Investment Protection Act is underway to guarantee investor protection, expand opportunities and facilitate investment operations. He also highlighted that the government is working to strengthen the country's investment climate by building national unity beyond ethnic and religious divisions, creating an efficient public service, maintaining transparent state relations and overcoming technological barriers through digitalization.
The distribution of housing entitlement certificates for the Malayagam community will be held in Bandaravela tomorrow under the patronage of President Anura Kumara Dissanayake.
Under the fourth phase of the 10,000 houses project implemented with Indian assistance, 2,000 beneficiaries are set to receive housing entitlements. The program, held under the theme "A Comfortable Home, a Hygienic Life," aims to improve living standards. The governments of Sri Lanka and India have collaborated on this initiative to support the Malayagam community across the country.
Newsfirst with the people.
Meanwhile, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka has expressed its strong condemnation over the incident in the Mount Lavinia court premises where a police constable assaulted a lawyer. RGP Attorney Priyantha Veerasurya stated that an investigation into this incident is currently underway.
The Bar Association of Sri Lanka expresses its utmost concern regarding the incident that took place yesterday within the Mount Lavinia court premises, where a police constable assaulted a lawyer following a dispute over the lawyer's vehicle and a prison bus being stopped. The lawyer had lodged a complaint with Mount Lavinia police, following which the constable was taken into custody, produced in court and remanded until the 13th of this month. The constable has denied committing the assault and no legal representation was present on his behalf during the proceedings. The BASL, issuing a statement, emphasized that it has always strongly opposed any misuse of power by police officers against any individual and described this incident as incomprehensible and unacceptable. While the officer suspected of the assault is currently in custody, the BASL urged Inspector General of Police Attorney Priyantha Veerasurya to closely monitor the situation and to take all necessary measures not only to address this incident but also to prevent similar occurrences in the future. Meanwhile, following a program held this afternoon in Ampara, Inspector General of Police Attorney Priyantha Veerasurya stated that the police are representing the constable in this matter.
The investigation into this matter is ongoing. We are representing the Sri Lanka police and the concerned officer. We also have the authority to review the conduct of the attorney seen in the video. The court and relevant authorities will decide on his behavior and necessary action will be taken accordingly.
A discussion was held today between officials from 4 entities established in line with the restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board and the CEB Engineers Union. The meeting was chaired by Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakudi.
companies හතරේ සභාපතිවරු තමයි අද පැමිණියේ මේ යුනියන් එක සාකච්ඡාවකට.
කම්පැනි හතර මොකක්ද?
NSO National Transmission Distribution Generation. තීන්දුව తీරන ගැනීමක් උනේ නැහැ. සුහදව හඳුනා ගැනීමක් කොහොමද ඉදිරි වැඩකට කරයි යන්නේ කියලා.
අද මොන යුනියන් එකත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡාව තිබ්බේ?
ඉංජිනේර්ස් යුනියන් එකත් එක්ක.
ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ පෞද්ගලික කාලේ පුරාවට මේකට වෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය කිව්වද ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ වෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය ඉවත් වෙලා සාමාන්‍ය මට්ටමට ඇවිල්ලා
No, that was not discussed. Our discussion today focused on how we will proceed with new operations, how staff will be allocated and what the responsibilities of the new directors will be. Yes, it was successful. After dividing the 4 companies, it was important for the Engineers Union to understand how the staff would be allocated. We clarified all of that and that was the outcome. There is a discussion scheduled for the upcoming Monday. Today's discussion was just a preliminary talk in preparation for that. After Monday, we will discuss matters related to the professional unions.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister Chaturanga Singha addressed the remarks made by parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva concerning the 1990 Suasaria ambulance service today.
මයිදන හර්ෂ මන්ත්‍රීතුමාට පක්ෂෙත් නැහැ නායකකමකුත් නැහැ ආසනෙත් නැහැ දේශපාලන අනාගතයකුත්
I believe MP Harsha De Silva has no party, no leadership, no seat and no political future. All that remains for him is the Finance Committee and occasional speeches in Parliament. We should perhaps sympathize with him as he seems to be seeking attention in the press. The public should know that Suasaria is moving forward. This year it has been operating efficiently with the necessary investments allocated, facilities provided and new innovations implemented. The new management continues to drive progress. I want to remind Harsha De Silva that Suasaria is not a private enterprise. It is a national project carried out by the Sri Lankan government with support from the Indian government. No one has the authority to claim ownership of this national initiative. From now on, the current government is responsible for Suasaria's success, which should be measured by the services it provides to the people. If there are shortcomings in those services, any MP, not just him, has the right to raise concerns.
ජනතාවට ලබා දෙන සේවය අඩුවක් වුණත් මම හිතන්නේ එතුමාට නෙමෙයි ඕනම മന്ത്രിවරයෙක්ට ඒ ගැන කතා කරන්න අයිතියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ හර්ෂ සිල්වා දේශපාලනයෙන් ඉවරයිද? මම හිතන්නේ
I think that unless he starts a new political venture, his political career has basically come to an end under Sajith Premadasa.
ප්‍රේමදාස යටතේ. අපිට ඉතින් එහෙම එකතු කරගන්න නැහැ.
We can't just bring someone in immediately. They need to join us, work with us at grassroots levels and over the course of 2 or 3 years build trust with us. They must align with our policies, respect our principles, set aside their new liberal policies and be willing to educate themselves in a socialist framework. If they are willing to work with us in this way, anyone can earn our trust over 5 or 6 years and truly become part of our team.
වසර 5ක් 6ක් යනකොට විශ්වාසය දිනා ගන්න. NPP එකත් එක්ක එන්න කියලා ආරාධනා.
We are not just inviting anyone specifically to join the NPP. That's a personal decision. Anyone willing can join this public movement. For example, they can work with Clean Sri Lanka, take responsibility and contribute. In the future, we have a program for drug prevention and if someone is willing, they can take leadership in that program and help the public movement in meaningful ways.
මම කියන්නේ ඉතින් එතම ඔතන ඉඳලා වැඩක් නැහැ කියලා.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
From January to September this year, revenue from tourists visiting the country has risen by 5.3%. During this period, earnings reached $2,472.9 million, up from $2,348 million recorded in the same period last year.
The fourth workshop of the Pyramid Wilma Chef's Hunt program was held in Batticaloa today. The initiative is jointly organized by Newsfirst and Pyramid Wilma in collaboration with the Chefs Guild of Lanka and the National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority. Today's workshop featured both practical training and a written test. This program is aimed at young men and women aged 18 to 25 who aspire to become professional chefs in the future.
A 4-day vehicle exhibition and sales program organized by CPC Finance was held in Anuradhapura. The program offered customers expert advice on vehicles, allowing them to inspect and purchase vehicles with guidance from specialized technicians. Both brand new and pre-owned vehicles were showcased at the event.
A book launch by renowned author Cedric Fernando took place today.
Celebrated author Cedric Fernando unveiled 3 of his latest literary works at a special launch event held today in Colombo. The newly released titles Metaram Premayak, Mahaguru Varayano, Master of Teachers, and Madhurapura Devagana, Goddess of Madras, reflect Fernando's continued contribution to Sri Lankan literature, blending deep cultural themes with compelling storytelling. Attendees were also gifted copies of the new releases, marking the occasion with a personal touch from the author.
A celebration to mark World Tourism Day was held in Kandy yesterday.
The Central Province Tourist Guide Lecturers Association, in collaboration with the Divisional Secretariat Office of Teldenia, organized a special event in celebration of World Tourism Day aimed at promoting the local tourism industry. The evening came alive with vibrant cultural performances, reflecting the rich traditions and heritage of the region. Awards were also presented to individuals who have made significant contributions to the growth and development of the tourism sector.
Sri Lanka has welcomed the initial Gaza peace agreement, emphasizing the need for lasting stability and constructive dialogue. Meanwhile, Hamas has recalled 7,000 security personnel and appointed 5 military governors as Palestinians return to their damaged homes.
Sri Lanka has welcomed the initial phase of the agreement for peace in Gaza, emphasizing the critical need for comprehensive and lasting peace and stability in the region. The Foreign Ministry said Sri Lanka, having experienced profound suffering and devastation caused by conflict in the past, deeply understands the importance and true value of peace, expressing hope that this agreement will pave the way for long-lasting peace in Gaza. Sri Lanka also commended the significant efforts led by the President of the United States and mediated by Qatar, Egypt and Turkey to reach the agreement. Reiterating its support for the Palestinian people's right to statehood, Sri Lanka urged both parties to engage in constructive dialogue to achieve lasting peace, stressing the importance of implementing UN resolutions regarding a two-state solution based on the 1967 borders. Hamas have now recalled 7,000 security members to reassert control over areas recently vacated by Israeli troops amid fears of internal violence. 5 new military governors have now been appointed to oversee operations. Thousands of Palestinians are returning north, many to destroyed homes, while rescue teams search for 9,500 missing people. Under a US-brokered ceasefire, 48 Israeli hostages are set to be returned, with 20 believed alive. Israel will release 250 Palestinian prisoners, though Hamas is pushing for additional high-profile detainees. The Red Cross is facilitating the exchanges and the return of human remains. The 48 Israeli hostages remaining in Gaza are expected to be released in the coming days, with Hamas required to meet a 72-hour deadline to return them to Israel as part of the ceasefire plan.
French President Emmanuel Macron reappointed his outgoing Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu back into that position just 4 days after Lecornu gave his resignation.
President Emmanuel Macron has asked Sébastien Lecornu to return as French Prime Minister only 4 days after he stood down from the post, sparking a week of high drama and political turmoil. Macron made the announcement late on Friday, hours after meeting all the main parties except the leaders of the far right and far left. Lecornu, in a message on X, said he accepted his reappointment out of duty, adding that, quote, "We must end the political crisis gripping France," end quote. He said he would do everything possible to give France a budget by the end of the year and added that restoring the public finances remained a priority for the future. Lecornu's return came as a surprise, as he said on national TV only 2 days ago he was not chasing the job and his mission is over. The new Prime Minister faces a deadline on Monday to put next year's budget before Parliament.
And in more international news, US President Donald Trump has said that he would impose an additional 100% tariff on imports from China from next month.
Trump said the US would also put export controls on critical software. In an earlier post, he hit back at Beijing's move this week to tighten its rules for exports of rare earths, accusing China of becoming a very hostile and trying to hold the world captive. He threatened to pull out of a meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. He later said he had not cancelled it, but that he did not know, quote-unquote, that we are going to have it. Financial markets dropped in the wake of Trump's remarks, with the S&P 500 closing down 2.7%, its steepest fall since April. China dominates production of rare earths and certain other key materials, which are key components in cars, smartphones, and many other items. The last time Beijing tightened export controls after Trump raised tariffs on Chinese goods early this year, there was an outcry for many US firms reliant on the materials.
And in your sports news, the 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup encounter between Sri Lanka and England is currently underway at the R. Premadasa International Cricket Stadium. Chasing a target of 254 runs, Sri Lanka are currently at 136 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at the end of 34.1 overs.
When you do from Lindsay Smith, also quicker as Lanka at all. Oh no. She is crucial if they are to do when it's gone.
Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to field first. England lost their first 2 wickets for 49 runs before Heather Knight and captain Nat Siver-Brunt built a strong 60-run partnership for the 3rd wicket. Captain Nat Siver-Brunt went on to score a brilliant century, guiding England to a total of 253 for 9 in their allotted 50 overs. Inoka Ranavira was the pick of the bowlers for Sri Lanka, claiming 3 wickets. All matches are being broadcast live on TV1, the official local broadcasting rights holder of the 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup, and streamed online via www.sirasatv.lk.
253.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Good night.